Hi everyone. Today we are going to talk about fixed asset management and its depreciation. These days, organizations find it pretty challenging to maintain their fixed assets, to find out where these fixed assets are located, what is the depreciation that is provided for, what is the quantity of these assets. For example, smallest of the IT firms need to maintain data as to how many laptops have been given to employees. When were these laptops purchased? How much depreciation has been provided for? Do these laptops need maintenance? What is the condition of these laptops? Large organizations have fixed assets in various locations like branches, warehouses, godowns, head office, factories. So a fixed asset management solution is a need of the hour. Currently, Zoho Books and Zoho Inventory do not have a fixed asset management solution, but very soon they're going to come up with one. So stay tuned. In this webinar, we are going to specifically be talking about depreciation. What is depreciation? How do you provide for it? And what is the treatment of depreciation that you will give in Zoho Books? So let's begin. So in this webinar, we are going to be talking about depreciation of an asset. What is depreciation? Why do we need to depreciate assets? What are the methods of depreciation which are commonly used? And how can you give the treatment of depreciation using Zoho Books? Coming to the first question, what is depreciation? Let me give you an example. Let's say you're a chef of a restaurant that is just about to start. You decide to buy a large oven to serve your customers. You bought the oven for rupees 2 lakhs. Now, when you buy the oven, will you decide to use it only for 1 year and then throw it away? Or will you decide to use it for a longer duration up to its useful life until when it can be used? Of course, you will keep the oven till its useful life. So when you bought this oven for rupees 2 lakhs, that entire 2 lakhs does not become an expense only for 1 year. It becomes an expense every year that you use the oven. This expense is depreciation. So the process of reducing the cost of a tangible asset due to use, wear and tear, passage of time is depreciation. So let's say you decide to use this large oven for a period of 5 years. Its cost is rupees 2 lakhs. So every year you are going to expense out an amount of rupees 40,000 because you're using the oven every year. So in this manner, every asset needs to be depreciated. Let's take another example. Let's say you buy a vehicle. Will the value of the vehicle remain the same 5 years from today? Obviously not. Why? Because you're using the vehicle every day. There's going to be normal wear and tear of the vehicle. So today when you buy the vehicle, let's say for rupees 8 lakhs, that entire 8 lakhs is not your expense because you're going to use the vehicle say for 8 or 9 years. So for the next 8 or 9 years, you need to expense the cost of the vehicle. So the entire 8 lakhs will not be an expense in year 1, but it will be divided in 8 or 9 years, depending on the useful life of the vehicle. Now, why do we provide for depreciation? We do it because of accrual method of accounting. Let's take an example. Let's say a laptop was purchased by a company in year 1 for rupees 50,000. Now again, you're not going to use a laptop in the first year and then give it away or throw it away. You're going to use the laptop for the next 5 years. Your company is going to generate revenue for the next 3 or 5 years depending on the useful life of the asset. Your company is going to generate revenue from that laptop, using that laptop. So that is why the entire 50,000 cannot be treated as an expense in year 1, but it has to be treated as an expense over the useful life of the laptop. So revenue is recorded when it's earned and expenses are recorded when they're incurred. Even if you're paying 50,000 today, You're not going to use a laptop this year and throw it. You're going to use it over its useful life. And that is why we need the concept of depreciation. This depreciation is the expense that we will be booking in our accounts every year until the useful life of the laptop. Let's take another example. Let's say we bought a machine for 1 lakh. Question for you. Can we treat the entire rupees 1 lakh as an expense? No. Why not? Now we'll be using the machine for more than 1 year. The machine will generate revenue every year for the next, in this case 10 years, over its useful life. You will not consume it entirely in 1 year. So why should we burden the expenses with the entire amount? This is why we need depreciation. That 1 lakh has to be divided over the useful life of the machinery. I hope you've understood why do we provide for depreciation. Now when I talk about depreciation, you obviously also need to create an asset or capitalize an asset in your books of accounts. So the process of recording the cost of the fixed asset in the balance sheet is capitalization. Meaning, in the earlier example that we saw, when we bought the machine of rupees 1 lakh, that 1 lakh becomes the cost of the machine, and this 1 lakh will be capitalized in the balance sheet. And every year over its useful life, this 1 lakh will be reduced little by little, and that amount will be provided as an expense in your profit and loss account. If you take the example of the laptop which was purchased for 50,000, the cost of capitalization will be 50,000. If you take the example of the oven that we had bought, the cost of capitalization will be rupees 2 lakhs. If you take the example of the vehicle that we purchased, the cost of capitalization will be 8 lakhs. So whatever cost you're incurring on that asset to ensure that it starts working, to use that asset over its useful life, can all be capitalized in the books of accounts. So even if you're incurring some transport cost to get the asset delivered, you can add that to your cost. Even if you're incurring some kind of an installation cost, it can be added to the cost. Now, there are two methods of depreciation which are very commonly used. One of the methods is a straight line method. The straight line method is nothing but a fixed cost method where the expense is spread out evenly over the useful life of the asset. We'll take an example and you'll understand better. Let's say a company bought 10 laptops for 50,000 each. So the asset that we're talking about is laptops. The cost is rupees 5 lakhs, 50,000 into 10 laptops. Let's say the scrap value after the useful life of the laptops is rupees 50,000. Meaning at the end of 5 years, I assume that I'll be able to sell the laptops for rupees 5,000 each. The useful life of the laptop is 5 years. Let's see how the straight line method works. Now, the formula is purchase cost minus salvage value upon useful life. Purchase cost in this case was rupees 5 lakhs minus the salvage value, meaning the amount at which I'm assuming I'll be able to sell my laptop after its useful life, 50,000, divided by 5, which is the useful life. So it comes to 90,000 per year. So let's look at this table and see how straight line depreciation works. The first thing that you will notice is that the depreciation expense remains the same every year. So it's going to be 90,000, 90,000, 90,000. So now if you see the definition, it's a fixed cost method where the expense is spread out evenly over the useful life. So the expense is spread out evenly in case of the straight line method. Now, I bought the asset at 5 lakhs. So I'm going to start with 5 lakhs. 90,000 is depreciation for year 1. Accumulated depreciation means the total depreciation provided for the asset over the useful life. So in the first year, we've provided only for 90,000. The closing book value is the opening value minus depreciation. So that comes to 4,10,000. Year 2, the closing book value becomes the opening value. 4,10,000 minus again 90,000, which is provided as an expense in year 2. The accumulated depreciation becomes 1,80,000. The closing book value 3,20,000. Again, this 3,20,000 becomes the opening value. The depreciation expense is 90,000. Accumulated depreciation for 3 years will be 90 plus 90 plus 90, 2,70,000. Closing book value 3,20,000 minus 90, 2,30,000. So in this manner, this table is prepared for a period of 5 years, which is a useful life of this asset. Now if you see, the closing book value is 50,000, which is nothing but the salvage value of the asset, right? So I've provided for the entire cost except the salvage value. This is how the straight line method works, extremely straightforward. The second method is a written down value method. Now in case of written down value, the depreciation is higher in the initial years of purchase. Let's say you're using an asset which is going to be used rigorously in the initial years and it wears off and its wear and tear is very high in the initial years. In that case, you use the written down value method. Let's take the same example. If you see, all the details are the same. The only addition is the rate of depreciation, which is 36.9%. I'll show you how I got the rate. Rate of depreciation is 1 minus scrap value upon written down value raised to 1 upon n. 1 minus 50,000 divided by 5 lakh raised to 1 by 5, which is the useful life of the asset, comes to 36.9%. Now let's see how the table will work in this case. Again, the opening value is the cost of the laptops, which is 5 lakh. Now in this case, the depreciation expense, if you notice, is higher. In the first case, straight line method, we had seen that the depreciation expense was 90,000 every year. Whereas in this method, it is higher in the first few years and then it keeps dropping. It keeps reducing. Why? Because this is the written down value method where the depreciation will be higher in the initial years of purchase. So again, if you follow the same method, opening value minus depreciation gives you the closing value. The closing book value becomes the opening value of the next year. Opening value minus depreciation expense gives you the closing value. And accumulated depreciation represents the total depreciation that is provided over the useful life of the asset. So again, in this case, if you see, the closing value comes to 50,000, which is nothing but the salvage value in this case. Now, these two methods are commonly used. In fact, they're also prescribed. Let's see. Now, the Companies Act 2013 prescribes 3 methods: the straight line method, the written down value method, and the unit of production method. Straight line method and written down value are the methods that we just saw. The unit of production method is calculated by dividing the original cost of the asset less the salvage value by the expected number of units an asset should produce over its useful life. So what happens is, let's say in your factory, you have certain assets and you want to provide for using unit of production method because your assets easily wear and tear on the basis of the units produced in the factory. So in that case, you can go for this method. Now the Income Tax Act prescribes only the written down value method. It has a separate concept of block of assets and you need to depreciate based on that concept. Your assets are put in different blocks and based on the WDV rate that is given for that block, you're required to depreciate your assets. So a lot of times it becomes essential that you maintain different figures for the Companies Act and for the Income Tax Act. Why? Because as per the Companies Act, you can use straight line method, WDV or unit of production method, whereas as per the Income Tax Act, you can use only the written down value method. Now, The Companies Act also prescribes the useful life of assets. Whatever is given in the Companies Act, those are the minimum depreciation values, meaning you can provide for higher depreciation by giving disclosures in your books of accounts as to why you're providing for higher depreciation. But those will still be the minimum figures. You cannot provide lower depreciation than what is given in the Companies Act 2013. Of course, the Companies Act 2013 will be applicable to you only if you're a company form of organization. Now, let's look at the treatment of depreciation using Zoho Books. How will you record depreciation in Zoho Books at the year end? As I discussed at the start of the webinar, currently Zoho Books does not provide an asset management solution. However, they're coming up with a solution very soon. Until then, how do you pass the depreciation entry? You use the manual journal option which is given in Zoho Books. So let's quickly look at it. How will you pass the depreciation entry at the year end in Zoho Books? Let's say you bought some furniture for your business. You can go to accountant. You can say add manual journal. Now, you will debit your furniture account. Let's say you bought it for 50,000 and you took a loan from the bank for it. So bank loan account 50,000. Furniture purchase. Now this purchase of furniture will be directly recorded under furniture and equipment, which is a fixed asset in your balance sheet, and you have taken a bank loan against it. So that is why bank loan account is credited. And I've also provided for a narration. I say save and publish. Now to provide for depreciation at the year end, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select depreciation expense as a journal. Let's say 10,000 a year is to be provided for the next 5 years. And what will be credited is a furniture and equipment account. Why? Because every year the value of the furniture will go down by 10,000 because I'm using it every year. So year 1 I purchase it for 50,000, depreciation 10,000. Year 2 the book value becomes 40,000, depreciation 10,000. Year 3 the book value becomes 30,000, depreciation 10,000. Year 4 the book value becomes 20,000, depreciation 10,000. And year 5 the last 10,000 is left and it is provided for as an expense. So in this manner, if you just pass this journal for all your fixed assets all at once, meaning you'll have to select depreciation expense debit, you can have the computation in your Excel sheet, and then you can keep adding the assets, the values of which need to be reduced on account of depreciation. And then you need to say save and publish. So in this manner, you can give the treatment of depreciation in Zoho Books using journals, and you can just create one journal and add all the fixed assets in that journal for the entire year. Of course, Zoho is coming up with a solution for asset management, but for now, this is what you can do. I hope you enjoyed the webinar and understood all about depreciation and how do you give the treatment of depreciation in Zoho Books. You can follow me on my social media channels